I am joined by a very, very, very awesome individual, someone I've known literally since the day that I was born. We have a very cool story. And I'm excited to introduce her with you guys. She goes by the artist name Lioness.
Hello.
AKA Latoya, for some of you guys that know her since way back.
Yeah.
Lioness, thank you so much for joining us on this podcast.
It's a pleasure. Thank you for having me. It's so crazy that I'm now in your space, because you've always been at my shows and stuff, obviously. So I'm like really impressed, and thank you for having me.
No, I'm buzzing. I think this is going to be an amazing discussion, and
of course.
Having you here is this inspiring, and I think the viewers are super excited to see what we have in store. So please, for the two people in Namibia that don't know who you are, could you please just say like a little bit about yourself, what you do, and
So as you guys know how I was introduced, my name is Latoya, but you guys know me as Lioness. I'm a medical doctor, and I've been rapping for 11 years. So not much about me, right?
That's the new summary. A medical doctor and a rapper.
Yes.
How did you just like what gave you the guts, to be honest? I think you need some big guts to be able to do that.
Yeah. How censored is this?
No, it's fine. You can go in.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah.
Well, I think it just happened, really.
Yeah.
And for me, like, what's important is that I take things on as a challenge and not a problem.
Okay.
So I never thought that, oh my God, oh my goodness, now I have to have a show and then I have to go to hospital. For me, it's exciting almost.
Yeah.
So it was never a problem. It was always a challenge for me, and I love both.
Yeah.
I love music more, to be honest, really. But, every artist needs to have something as a backup, especially where we come from.
Yeah.
I can't give it 100% just yet until I'm comfortable. So I think it's like a drive. It's like it's not antagonistic. I think it's agonistic, the way that these things work together. Yeah.
Okay, awesome. I think just to kick off, I just want to ask you a bit about your background. Like, when you were in high school, what kind of person were you in high school? Because I'm sure, as I mentioned before, the whole point of this podcast is basically just to unpack the type of people that we are.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to think, like, when you were in high school, were you, like, what kind of person were you during that time? And like, how are you different now? What do you think?
Sure. That's a very in-depth question. That's
what we're trying to get deep out here.
So I was a very shy person.
Oh, really?
And I was a geek. And I still am, but I was more of a geek. Like, I used to hang out with clever girls who'd like party here and there. So I was never part of like the rotten, half or whatever they call it, or the rotten bunch. Although I did really naughty things. But that's like every teenage girl does these things. So I think I was like a geek, and I was very shy and very conscious about myself.
Yeah.
Like, am I saying something that's weird? Am I doing something that's weird? So I was always someone who was reading myself constantly. And compared to now, I think that really helped me, because I know in what areas or what triggers me, for example, or very sure about myself. So I used to lie to myself back then. Now I just accept things how they are, because that's me. So it was 10 years. No, not 10 years. Yeah, 10 years.
About 10 years, yeah.
We're old.
Very old. Jeez. You're so old.
So there was like a 10-year, period of just really growing.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think it's like, people always have the perception that when you're older, you need to be perfect. I think when you're older, you just need to understand yourself. That's what the most important thing is. Yeah. So, And
a lot of that comes from reflection. I think, as you said, like being able to understand the person that you were before.
Absolutely.
For me, I think mine was a bit different. I feel like, weirdly, back in high school, primary school there, I was so naughty. Like, I was one of those... I was so naughty, like my parents would like pray that please, like, don't break anything this time. Like, they would pray for my hands, make sure that, like, I was man. There's always that kid that walks into a room and everyone's like, oh no, please, like, protect everything. I was that kid. And then somewhere along the lines, I felt like, I don't know, I keep telling myself that someone lied to me. Someone lied to me and told me that wasn't the right way to be or something. Because the drastic change that I had in my life, and I became someone that was very, very, how do I say, PG-13, very like to myself, and not necessarily someone that would take risk all the time. So right now I'm so much better.
Yeah.
But I saw it just in my core character. I was very hesitant at everything. So now that I'm realizing that, I'm working backwards to trying to be like, okay, cool, I need to get back to that person that I was, because I feel like now that I know myself, I've been taking more risks.
Yeah.
And that it keeps on paying off. Like the more I'm more edgy, the more I'm more out there, unapologetic, the more it just pays off.
Yeah.
So that is super interesting. I wanted to ask you, what do you think about first impressions? Because for me, I think first impressions are one of those things that you only get one shot at.
Yeah.
And if you know who you are, it's easy to get right, but if you don't, it's hard to, you might mess it up. So in your aspect, in your world, what do you think is the first thing that people notice about you?
Well, a lot of people think I'm really mean,
Okay.
but that's not because they've spoken to me ever. So they're two different types of contact, I believe.
Yeah.
Like, the physical, and then there's like the verbal. So I could be like swinging my hair, upset at something, and you think, oh no, Lioness is a diva.
Yeah.
But then it's like, my boyfriend who stressed me out or something. You understand what I mean? So it depends. Usually I'm very to myself. I'm that type of person who just, if you find me, I'm really alone. I'm not a social person, except with my people. I wouldn't go out and say, hey, what's up, to somebody I don't know. So I think a lot of people find that as me being rude. So I think a lot of impressions that I get is, oh, I thought you were so rude. I'm like, what? So it's definitely important, because in our world, for example, you can miss out on opportunities because people think you're arrogant.
That's true.
I think in any creative world, really. So it's a difficult, pull between my personality and, the people that I have to impress.
Yeah.
Which are my fans ultimately. So it's a hit and miss. One of those things.
Yeah.
Yeah. But a lot of artists are very withdrawn and very misunderstood.
That's true.
Yeah. So if you're wise enough to know that this, population of people are like this, then you wouldn't judge. So it's one of those things where, for me, you can't really tell. It's either you think I'm rude or that's it.
Okay, I can relate with that.
Yeah.
For me, I feel like,
I hope I'm not talking gibberish, guys.
No,
Sorry.
you're
I'm a very in-depth person, and people need to listen to these things over and again
you're
to
doing a great
understand.
job. You're doing a
Okay,
great
everybody
job. And
understands.
also, if you're thirsty, please have an appetizer.
Ooh, I love this. Thank you.
Just
Thank
have
you.
it
I was
going.
really
It's nice
thirsty.
and cold. I know it's quite hot here.
Yeah, it's
Yeah, so for me personally, the thing that stuck out for me for you is you have something that I call presence, right? And I think presence overshadows a lot of things, because it's the first thing that when you see someone, that's the first thing that you get. Their presence, their aura, what they bring to the table.
Yeah.
And I don't know if this is something that you've noticed in yourself, because I mean, like, after the conversations that we've had a lot of conversations, and I've mentioned that you have this presence, and I want you to. I said every song needs a video.
That's true.
Yeah,
that's true.
it's like every song needs a video, because you really carry that. Is that something that you notice in yourself when you're pushing it forward, or is it just something that just came naturally?
Okay, well, I think it's most of it is what I understand what people like.
Yeah.
So I understand what people want. And for me, I really go with what my people want from me. If I see that putting out a single is not as profitable as putting out a video, then I'd rather put out a video. And why do they like these videos? Is it because of my creativity? Is it because, I'm sassy? Is it because I'm daring? Or like, so I try and really, really, really do a lot of introspection and see what people want. So I guess it's like a business model. At the same time, it's me as an artist. I need people, like, I always tell everybody that artists are a package of what other people want. you need to package yourself in a way so that you can connect with a certain market. You know, every brand has to do that.
Yeah.
So I see people come on more and more to my following because of the things that I do. And so then slowly and surely I'm like basically illustrating who Lioness is for them. Yeah. So it's so important.
No,
if you understand it.
I was just about to say, I think it's packaging. I genuinely think it's packaging, and I think people get it wrong, especially like the average person that thinks that them putting their best foot forward is them sort of being not only arrogant but also being fake. Because you know, for example, if you know you're good looking, take a lot of photos. Do you know what I mean? Like,
CJ?
I'm just saying. I'm not saying me. Come on.
Really though? I got think the beard so, in CJ.
That, but I'm just saying, in general, there's nothing wrong with you figuring out where you hit the most.
True.
Right?
True.
If you're a great writer, but you can't speak very well, write a lot of stuff, write blogs, do whatever, right? And position yourself in a place where your strength hits the most.
Exactly.
That's why I called you and I said, like, your music is awesome, whatever. But the thing that resonates with me, every time I see you on camera, I remember it. Every single time. That's why I was like, you have to shoot a video for everything. Even if you don't think it's a hit, it will pay off, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I also had another question. I have a bunch of questions today. It's all about you anyway. But I know, like, so many of my listeners and people that have listened to this podcast are people that are stuck in themselves and they feel like they need to be something but they can't be that, or they feel like they want to be someone who's absolutely like famous and all that kind of stuff. But I try and remind them that there's always two sides to a story. Always. So you as Lioness today, right?
Yeah.
So much literally the whole that maybe it looks at you, whatever you post, everything is in the limelight. What are the things that hit you in the face that you didn't expect when all that attention came?
I think it was more of a reaction to people who I thought I knew, like friends and family. They all thought I'm changing because in their minds, people who become famous change and they're not accessible anymore. So I think a lot of friends of mine were like, okay, now she's not going to become accessible, and therefore, you know, we have to act strange to her because, you know, she's not going to be there for us anymore. So I lost a couple of friends. I lost a lot of family members. And I didn't expect it because for me, it's like if I'm getting famous, I'm taking all my niggas with me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then they don't understand that the side of the work that needs to be put in sometimes requires social isolation. It just does.
100%.
It means I can't be accessible to you, but if you know, you know. And I think a lot of people missed that about me. And there was miscommunication and then it just ended. Yeah. So not so much from the other people's side, more of the people who I was closest to, who I lost. Yeah. I knew what fame was. I knew that this means this, but I didn't know you lose your friends. And you know, people speak about it, but you're like, but really though, my friends, you know, you're always so sure of other people. So that was the biggest hit for me, like losing close people.
I can see that, and it's good you said that because people don't think that. I think people think they want to be popular because they want to have thousands of friends, but I think you have thousands of people around you and very little friends. Yeah, and that's a reality that no one really actually speaks about. Yeah, but true. On the flip side of that, what are the like positive things that hit you that you're like, wow, this is dope? That really changed your life or like like your situation. What do you think?
I think also in the journey of becoming self-aware, I was really self-aware. Like I was so aware of myself in the sense that I knew my morals and I knew what. Sometimes, you know, they'd be like, oh, you know, I was even told one time, sorry to deviate, that go for you to be able to be more attractive, you need to become half naked. This is what someone said to me. And I saw I didn't need to. I could be in my leotard because I was comfortable, not because I wanted to impress somebody else. Yeah, fair. So I think really becoming self-aware and being able to have my art, you know, shared with other people. It's just my little secret that I want to share. And then when everyone knows, it's like it's amazing.
When
Like
people know
secret,
the
not
words
in
to
the
your
bad
song.
side.
When
Yeah.
people know the words to your
It's
song,
like
stuff
it's
that.
nostalgia because I think every artist has imposter syndrome.
Yeah.
It's a little bit of like, am I ever good enough? And when they validate that with singing my songs at concerts, I'm thinking, all these people know my song, bro.
Yeah.
And that also comes back from my personality. I'm like, oh my goodness,
Yeah.
I'm doing it right.
Yeah.
Because art is such a risky thing.
Oh, I agree.
Once you make it, you're like, finally, but it's never really enough.
Yeah.
So I think just that joy of having these people like know me like that. Yeah.
No, you said something that really stuck with me, and imposter syndrome. That is a real thing that not a lot of people speak about, but even I experience it. Everyone experiences.
Yes. And they don't know what to call it because
Exactly.
you're like, until someone says it, you'll read about it.
Yeah.
We're all very intelligent people, but we don't know how to call it. You're like, I'm stuck between, am I good enough? Will I ever be good enough? Is this my best?
Yeah. I was gonna say let's break it down for those people that don't know what imposter syndrome is. I think imposter syndrome is the idea of not only is it am I ever good enough, but wherever you are, you feel like you shouldn't be there because you're not. You don't have the skills required, or there's always someone better than you in that position. Trust me, everyone, your biggest, whoever you love the most, Kevin Hart or I don't know, Beyonce.
Yeah.
They all suffer from imposter syndrome. No one absolutely 100% believes they should be where they are. No one, I promise, this is a secret, right? Let me tell you something. This is a secret that no one tells anyone. No one knows what they're doing. Like everyone you love, no one knows what they're doing. They're just figuring it out. I promise you, just like you, the same way you're trying to figure out some stuff, everyone's just figuring it out. There's no one that 100% knows what they're doing. If they do, then in the place where they're very comfortable and they've done it too much and they need to do something else.
Yeah, that's true.
It is a real thing.
Yeah, it is. So obviously, like you said, everybody is affected by it.
Yeah.
And I think that's a very important note because if anything, that's what you should take away, that no one knows what they're doing.
No one does.
It's really trial and error. So don't feel bad if you think you're not progressing. It's probably a bigger picture for you. Yeah.
Okay, this one is gonna be we're gonna go a bit deeper. Yeah. Every show you have a different outfit.
Yeah.
Someone's paying for it.
Yeah, me.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like how much money do you just in general, like on your appearance or like your outfits for shows, how much money do you think you've spent on that over the last 2 years maybe?
Oh.
Just a ballpark number.
Sure. Toya, I buy a lot of things.
Yeah, but not
I
necessarily
think even
like,
maybe like close to like maybe like 100,000.
Yeah, right? And that's the thing. My point.
Not even actually more. Wow, I could be so rich.
No, but my point is this. Like, a lot of people think it just comes by you just trying and doing things, whatever. You have to make some definite sacrifices. And for you, your appearance is key. And that's why
for me, yes.
Every show you have a banging new outfit.
Yeah.
And it to some people might seem unnecessary, but that's something that works in your leverage. You know what I mean? Like it's something that you can carry forward in every single anything. Any conversation, any whatever, that's something that you have, that you own.
Yeah.
So, and I 100% believe in that, because for me, I think one of the things that I manage to always sacrifice is I try not to care about other people's opinions, number one, but two, I push myself to be out of my comfort zone in certain things. For example, I will have an idea for something ridiculous like a t-shirt, right? I'll have an idea for a t-shirt, and unlike other people, everyone has an idea for like, oh, that would be a cool t-shirt. I push myself to actually make it happen. Every single concept or idea that I get, I I step out of my comfort zone, spend that extra $300, $400, whatever, to actually get that specific t-shirt done. And what it's done is it's put me forward in so many different situations. Like what I did, I took a bunch of t-shirts and I printed the days of the week on them. So I have a t-shirt for Monday, for Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, whatever. So I normally wear all black every single day. So it was a nice way to go to work and wear a different t-shirt.
But still wear this color.
It's like, yeah, it's still black. People don't think I'm wearing the same clothes.
Yeah.
But more than that, I knew to capture attention. So you don't understand, everywhere I went, every single way I went, and I was wearing a Monday t-shirt on a Monday. I was wearing one today.
Yeah.
And I was wearing a Monday t-shirt on a Monday. Everyone would start a conversation with me. That's a good t-shirt or whatever. That's a whatever. Not only in terms of first impressions, but just in terms of you're seeing someone and that person's bringing like something interesting into your life. Like that was back when I was working at L'Oreal. I went from knowing maybe 30% of the people that worked at L'Oreal, and in my last 3-4 months to knowing 75% of the people that worked at L'Oreal. Simply because every day I wore a t-shirt that had the day written on it. So people would know me for that. People started conversations with me, and now my network is completely different. Like something that simple, right? So whenever I get an idea like this t-shirt I made this t-shirt. I got it. I was like, I want a t-shirt that says I can't relate, because I feel like I'm someone that's, honestly, I genuinely feel like I'm someone that's very different to what a lot of people think. Like, I don't drink, I don't smoke, I don't do this. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I mean, in many ways, I just can't relate. You might think that's cool, but for me, generally, in many ways, I just can't relate, right?
Yeah.
And so many people have asked me for my t-shirt. So the little things that I think about and the things that I get creatively, I've pushed myself to take risk and actually get it started. And I feel like that's one thing that has resonated for me.
Yeah, that's sacrifice.
Yeah, sacrifice. Sacrifice is key, man.
Yeah.
Like, it's so important.
Yeah.
I was going to ask you, social media. Social media is a huge part about being popular in today's world. Like,
True.
It's not something you can avoid.
Some people don't get it.
Some people don't get it.
They think you're stuck on your phone, bro. No.
Yeah, I was gonna ask. So
you're trying to network.
What is your relationship with social media right now? How do you feel about it?
You know, in as much as people say they feel like they're not in control, I'm in control of whatever I put out, especially on Instagram. So I can influence people's opinions of me simply through my Instagram. They could be like, for example, going back to my to the point I made earlier. Going back to the point I made earlier, they would be like, you know, I think she's so rude. But in actual fact, when I post like things of puppies, they'll be like, oh, but she's a sweet girl, man. You know? So it's like I really control the opinions that they have of me. And that's just, you know, a place where I feel like is the best place right now to market yourself. Instagram, not even Twitter, not even Facebook. I mean, not Facebook, no. Like, not even... Sorry. If you love Facebook. Instagram is the most influential, I think, social media app in the world right now. Yeah. I might be mistaken. So, you know, that's where you connect with everyone. And at first, like, firsthand, you know, this verification really helps. Because you're like, let me shoot my shot and see if they open. How many stories have you heard, like, we met on Instagram or I connected through Instagram? It's like huge stories. So yeah. I
have a question. What do you think, what are some of the tricks that you think the average listener can use to capture attention on Instagram? Because I mean, Instagram's like think about it as like Long Street or something. There's parties happening everywhere. You own a bar and your bar is really small and you want people to come to your bar. So what are the things on Instagram, like you have a few hundred followers or whatever, what are the things that you can do as a person to just try and capture more attention? What are the little hacks that you've tried, or like I'm not talking about like the algorithm or whatever, just more of like just like as a person,
what works for me. Yeah. It's definitely I think this is more of a feature of Instagram, is promoting. I see people from I've gotten fans from Ethiopia as far as Madagascar, and I'm thinking, but how? You know, they've never seen a day in their life of me. And I don't know how far that can go. So I think it's a feature, and I'm really specific on what I promote, or what I feature on Instagram. Instagram. Also, a lot of involvement from your public. They need to be involved. So these little people don't understand how powerful Instagram is, guys. You know, these little what do you think your best day is, or what do you what, or something like that. Not the best day. Okay, what is your favorite color?
Yeah.
Or what is your what? People feel so involved, like, and especially when you repost people's things, they feel like, you know, I've made it. I'm sorry. How many people do you think they'll even share that with?
That's true.
Their few other couple hundreds of friends, and that's automatic follows for you, and that eventually it's like automatic listens and plays and buys. So it's like, it is an algorithm, really.
Yeah.
I think it's something that you need to figure out.
Yeah. No, I think you're spot on, and I think the key word you used was like involvement in community. I think people forget that social media platforms are supposed to be social, and doesn't matter what your status is. The more, and this is a fact, the more you open up your world to people on social media, the bigger your account gets. 100%. You can post nice pictures and people you always look like you're on holiday and whatever, and it's nice. But the more you literally show what you do on a daily basis on stories, ask people questions. You want something for lunch, ask people, what should I get for lunch? The more you get people involved, you can just see the ball rolling.
It's crazy. I've
seen
it.
It's so much fun.
It's
I enjoy it. I'm 100%. I'm a diehard social media guy, because I just think there's so much potential and there's so many things, like
an opportunity. Exactly.
So much opportunity within that space.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is my last question, and I always close with this question. You're back in your hometown, which is Windhoek. Just think about it. Imagine you're back in your hometown. There's a billboard up in the biggest street, a massive billboard. There's a picture of you, and there's a statement on it. What does that statement say?
CJ, I think you need to send me these questions before.
Just think, what first thing that comes to mind?
I don't want to watch this and be like, why did I say that?
First thing that comes to mind. It's the most genuine.
Oh my God, I want to cry now. You see these fluctuations of emotions. I think it probably would be, you can do it. Because at any stage in your day, you can feel demotivated. And I think seeing that little reminder that you can do it, just you can push through, I think that's also what led my life. Because when I was doing med school and in music, that was a nightmare for me. I was like, I don't know how I'm going to do this. Even with, internship right now, I'm like, my goodness, what am I doing? And, I think that's my constant reminder, because that's pushed me, and now I'm able to handle it. So
awesome.
You can do it.
You can do it. That's true.
You can do it, bro.
You can do it.
Please print that on your shirt. Please.
I'll actually do. I'll think about it. See what we can do. And I'll get you one as well.
That is gonna make you money, bro.
I'll get you one as well.
Please.
Thank you so much for joining us on this podcast today. Like, I really enjoyed having you here.
Thank you.
Guys, as you heard, Lioness joined us on the podcast. How to be popular. Just speaking about the ins and outs of being popular. And what we can do as individuals to just have a lasting impression on our communities. And the two things I want you to take away is, number one, imposter syndrome is a real thing. You might not feel like you know what you're doing, but no one does. No one knows what they're doing. They're just trying to figure it out just as much as you. And if you keep on going at it, you're eventually going to get there, because that's just the same way we've all done it, right? And the next thing is your community and being active on social media. Get people involved. Like, don't be anti-social on social media. It doesn't work. If you want to have influence and you want people to recognize you, open up your world. Like, do some shout outs or something, get people, post other people, and other people post you. Give and you'll get back. Thank you so much for joining us in this podcast. We'll see you on the next one.